Hello. I do not like. Ooh, showing on my goods. I don't really like the lighting right now, but I'm gonna try to make the best of it. So, um, where do I want to begin, y'all? Where do I want to begin? Let's see here. So tonight is the Libra full moon, the pink full moon. A lot of people have been talking about it in spiritual and astrological circles, and I had kind of been feeling this call to um, work with. All the way comfortable. I should have made sure I was comfortable before I did it. But so I have gotten this call or summoning. I don't know what I want to call it, to connect with the Orisha Oba, which is not a very popular deity in the West. Um, Regarding like Orisha worship or working with Orishas. And for those of you who do not know what an Orisha is, an Orisha, oh, thanks, friend. An Orisha is a deity that comes from African spiritual religions such as Ifa, such as Lukumi, such as what other? Santeria. So Oba is a deity that comes from those pantheons. She comes from African spiritual religions. Hi. And a lot of people sometimes associate her with Oshun, but she's not Oshun. She is her own deity. And Oba is the Orisha of home, domestication, and marriage. That is what she is associated with. And like I said, I had been kind of getting this call to work with her, and I haven't gotten really, really deep, but I ordered one of her oils from a spiritualist that I buy a lot of products from, and she came through. She came through, and she had a lot to say. I kind of have always wanted to work with her because of what she represents. I feel like she and I, we have some vibes together, and I like her. And her colors are pink and blue. I'm very big on pink. I love pink. That's one of my favorite colors. So, anyways, Oba. So, I began my journey working with her. I've just really begun, and she gave me some information that I want to share with everybody. And when I say she gave me information, it was kind of like a download for me. And she's very straightforward, very much like someone who runs a home, very much like a wife that don't play. And the information she gave me, I'm gonna just do it. Okay, so like I said, Oba, the Orisha of home and marriage and family as well. So Oba, her story, her main story, is kind of sad. But she was one of the wives of Shango, and one of the things that happened with her is she did something to kind of get the attention of Shango because he really wasn't paying her enough attention, and it has something to do with her ear. And one of the things I've learned about hi. One of the things I've learned about Oba is she definitely wants you to listen and pay attention, right? That's like one of the things that she wants people to do when you work with her. Sometimes people who are considered children of Oba will have issues with their ears or have issues hearing and things like that. Because in the story, she cut off her ear. But anyways, this is the Libra full moon. Libra is governed by Venus, which is the planet of love. Everybody knows about Venus. And just to give you a little astrological breakdown for those of you who are not into astrology, Libra is a very interesting sign. Libra is a very social sign. Libra is actually the sign. It governs marriage, it governs divorce, it governs business partners, and it governs open enemies, meaning the enemies that like this motherfucker don't like you. Okay. And but everybody mostly associates Libra with like love and marriage and things like that. And I was fortunate enough to have a stepfather who was a Libra. And so some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, I learned from my stepdad also. So I often I've talked to a lot of women, and I've read a lot of books about marriage and relationships. And there has been a recurring theme in some of these books and from some of the information I've gathered from reputable relationship experts, marriage experts, quote unquote. And the thing is, it's really about standards. Oba had a standard for her home, and she had a standard for her marriage and a standard for her family. So that is like trying to like get you guys to understand like the energy. So this full moon in Libra more than likely brought up some things around family, around relationships. The North Node is still in Cancer, which is the sign of family and motherhood. So it's a very feminine energy type time. You guys know Venus is associated with women and femininity and things like that. So the message or the information that I've been able to really receive, or what really came to me regarding Oba, is it was a lot. But a lot of women ask about marriage. I've asked other people about marriage or have been concerned about marriage in today's society. And the thing that Oba mainly explained or mainly gave was that the reason why there are so many single women, that marriages don't work, or that women have issues getting married and things like that, is because it's not a standard. So another thing that popped up today was I was in this group, and this woman was like, how do you sure that you're not being a wife or acting like a wife to a boyfriend? Because you know that people always tell you don't be a wife to a boyfriend and stuff like that. And so this woman asks like, well, how do I make sure that I'm not doing that myself? And again, based on everything that I've learned and information that I'm privy to, it's because it's the way to do that is you don't be a girlfriend. Like, why am I holding myself back? Let me just be real. There is no such thing as a girlfriend. It's not real. A girlfriend and a boyfriend relationship, I mean, it's a friendship. It's not a marriage. Now, there's nothing wrong with being friends with somebody before you guys move on to engagement and marriage. That's cool. But that's where so many women like fuck up, basically, is we get caught in this stage of girlfriendhood. That's not a real thing. Like, that's not real. It's a holding space. It's a holding pattern. And Oba is also very traditional. So I'm going to speak about traditions. For those of you who do not know, I am a Southern woman. I'm from the South. And so some of the things that I will talk about are very traditional in nature. Some people may consider it to be old-fashioned. But again, that's Libra energy too. Libra is very traditional. Libra is, if you look at their fashion sense, Libra actually rules fashion. They're very like classically styled. You know, they don't really wear things that are super gaudy. They're very classic and things like that. So the standard for your relationships can't be, I want to be his girlfriend. If marriage is a goal for you. If marriage isn't a goal for you, like, fuck this video. Like, you don't even need to watch this video. But that should not be you shouldn't even care about it, honestly. It's not important. Let me get my charger. I don't wanna lose y'all. It's not important. It shouldn't be something that you are even tolerating or doing, you know. And that's something that I know my great grandmother and my grandmother have taught me. It took me a while for it to click, you know, because I'm gonna tell y'all some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I've lived it, so I know like the spaces where I fucked up at. Okay, but that's not a thing. So men will all day be like, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is my girl, whatever, this is my boo, my lady. Sometimes they'll even call you their wife. but that's not a real thing. It doesn't hold any type of weight. Um, and Libra also is associated with legal matters. If you look at the sign of Libra, it's represented by the scales or whatever. So, um, you see it like you look at legal stuff. That's their symbol is the scale. So Libra is also associated with that. So again, legal relationship. The only legal relationship that you can have with anybody, which is governed by Libra. If you go to the funny part, I've always told people this: when you go to the courthouse, the place where you get your business license, business partnerships, again governed by Libra, and your marriage license are usually in the same office. Like, again, that's not, I'm coming from an astrological perspective, so that, that's very ironic almost in a way. Or maybe it's on purpose, because a lot of people in higher realms govern, they do astrology, but they just don't talk about it. What's his name? J.P. Morgan Chase is one of the most popular people that talks about how millionaires don't have astrologers, billionaires do, because astrology does govern our world. Again, we are governed by the planets, whether people want to admit that or not. But the aspect of dating, like the modern society of dating, it's a farce. Like, it's just a holding space for men and women to just kind of like be with somebody, just to have a partner. It doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. So, without telling too much of my business, in the past week, and my Venus is in Libra, so I'm kind of like inclined to be relationship oriented, marriage oriented, and, in addition to my Southern background. But what's I saying? Libra, Venus energy. Yes. So at the end of the day, if you wanted to go and make sure that, say your partner was in the hospital and it was like a life or death situation, in a lot of cases, if you're their girlfriend, right, they will not let you J.P. Morgan Chase, the person who started Chase Bank, the billionaire. They will not let you go see that person. They don't care that you're their girlfriend. They don't care that y'all got 5 kids together. They don't care that y'all been together for 25 years. They don't give a fuck. They're going to be like, you're not kin. They will tell you that. I've seen this happen to people. And I know for a fact, that's why a lot of same-sex couples were so adamant about being able to allow to marry. It's because when it came down to the legal aspect of it, again, Libra, they were getting fucked over. Because, how you sit up, you're not allowed to marry this person. Y'all been together 15 years, and you can't even go see about them in the hospital. You can't even go tell them a goodbye or make a decision as to whether they're going to be taken on or off life support or whatever, because you're not their legal spouse. So all day people try to be like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a piece of paper, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's a piece of paper to somebody finna die. It's a piece of paper until y'all don't have anything on y'all's name, in the same name. You can't access this person's bank accounts after they died and stuff like that. Piece of paper my ass. A birth certificate is a piece of paper. A social security card is a piece of paper. A driver's license is a laminated piece of paper, but we make sure we get those pieces of paper. Okay, so for people who feel like marriage is whatever, it doesn't matter, it's stupid, it's just a way for women to take men's money. There's a such thing as a prenuptial agreement, okay, when it comes down to that. Venus also rules money, astrologically speaking. But what Oba was basically, giving me is like, the reason why this shit is so fucked up for a lot of y'all is because you don't require marriage. You just want to be somebody's girlfriend. So they keep you at girlfriend. And, you do, like I said, this young lady asked, well, how do I not play wife to somebody when I'm in a girlfriend status? And people were literally saying, yeah, I spoke a little bit about that, Elsie, in the beginning. Well, I think you were on here in the beginning, about how the business and the marriage licenses are in the same office. You get them in the same office, and that's Libra energy all day. Is that basically like people were saying things like, well, you don't have kids with them. If you don't want to be treated like a girlfriend, don't have kids with somebody you're not legally married to. Don't move in with them. don't get bank accounts with them. Basically, all of these marital things. Don't clean up after him, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to be put in that position, you just tell them straight up. And I'm over 30, so I've gotten to this place where my fucks are starting to leave. They say every decade your fucks start to leave. By the time you're 50, 60 years old, you start giving people the real deal. Well, I'm only at level 30 right now. And, yes, Shanice, I'm going to talk about that too. You know, you don't even give somebody that energy. When they ask what you're looking for, you tell them straight up, I'm looking to be married. You don't tell them, oh, I just want somebody that loves me for me and will treat me like this, treat me like that. That can come after that, but you need to make it clear that your goal is marriage. And if you're not married, you're going to date other people because you're not betrothed to anyone. There's no requirement. There's no investment made. And that investment is usually through a ring, and or property being purchased and stuff like that. Why do my boobs keep wanting to come out? Okay, Venus energy. Put them up. But that's it. There is no negotiation between that. And you should also have a timeline on how long you're willing to be a girlfriend or to be dating somebody. It should be common, in my personal opinion, for a woman to go to a man and be like, hey, you know what, Mark, you're really nice. I've had a great time with you, but Justin proposed to me, and so I'm going to be ending our relationship because I'm going to be getting married to Justin. Bling blow. Because there's no reason, like, that stops you from meeting other people. And this girlfriend shit, it's a holding place. And you're not going, because again, you're committed to somebody and y'all don't even have there's no commitment. There's nothing on paper saying that you can't date other people. Men do this all the time, in case y'all didn't know. Men do this all the motherfucking time. This is their stilo. They'll come to you and tell you they start dating somebody, they engaged now all the fucking time. But it's like women because I guess they're so happy to be with a man, they allow themselves to stay in this holding place of I'm a girlfriend or I'm dating Joe and so this is my boyfriend, and they post Joe all over social media and whatever. There's nothing stating that you and Joe are going to be together or that Joe puts you above every other woman in your life, in his life. Nothing, because you're just his girlfriend. So Oba really was like courtship. Courtship is the only way. And courtship, some people look at courtship like, dating. No, that's not. Dating is some modern bullshit, okay? Courtship is the standard if you are looking for marriage. Courtship means that you are your goal for this relationship is specifically marriage. You and this other person have decided this is what we're shooting for. This is what we're going for. And they're doing things to prove that. And they're taking those steps. You guys, they know what kind of ring you want. They know where you want to live and things like that. And, a lot of women are afraid to do that because a lot of men be like, well, shit, I just met you. I ain't focused on that, blah, blah, blah. A man who wants a wife or feels that he wants to put you in the status of wife is not going to be uncomfortable with the fact that that's what you want. And that's just it. That's just your standard. No, you can't spend the night in my house. Again, very old-fashioned energy, but it is what it is. It sets a standard for you. No, you can't spend the night at my house. No, we're not having no kids. No, we're not moving in together. No, we're not getting no bank account together because we're not husband and wife, period. And this is how so many women get bamboozled into this bullshit because it's like, well, I like him. He's amazing. He's great. I didn't say he wasn't. But if you want to get married, if you decide you want to be somebody's girlfriend and you're going to only date this person exclusively, you're courting by yourself. Because you're courting, if that's what you want. You're courting this man, and you're doing it by yourself because he hasn't made a declaration to you, I want to get married within the next year, or whatever. And I've seen women, again, I've been in some of these situations, so I'm not above none of this stuff, okay? But, and you'll have kids with somebody, you'll buy property with somebody, you'll go into business with somebody, all kinds of different things, and be mad that you're not placed in the standard of wife because you didn't make that, like, you have to make that a standard. And again, I know a lot of One of the little tricks that men have done is they try to tell you that you just can't come out the gate with that shit. You know, you just can't come out the gate with that. Yes, you can. Royal families, and I'm not just talking about the one in England, but royal families globally. You cannot just be dating a princess and you haven't y'all aren't courting, because you're not going to just be her boyfriend for 3 and 4, 5 years. The king and the queen and whoever else, they're not going to allow that. And so a lot of people call themselves queens and we're kings and all. If that's the case, then why are y'all playing? Why, that's why, again, the black community is in the way that's why it's so fucked up. We claim to have this royal status, but we don't do royal shit. Marriages are for people who are trying to build generational wealth. They are building, legacies and things of that nature. Women every day give men a legacy by having children with a man they're not married to and give the child his last name. He's not your husband. Why would you do that? Again, I've done it. So, again, I'm not above it. Again, some of this is my life experience. But, Oba was like, this is why y'all's communities are fucked up. Because there's no standard. There's no standard. And women there's no requirement. Y'all would just date and date and date. And dating doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, oh, I like him, he likes me. It's very juvenile. And if you look at the word girlfriend, boyfriend, y'all are just fucking friends. This is why you should be dating more than one person at a time. Unless you have, and let me be clear as well, because I was talking to somebody about this as well. Engagement rings are nice. If y'all ain't got no date, it don't really mean shit. It don't really mean shit. Another thing that I've learned as a Southern woman, and where my stepfather comes in with, he's a Libra, and my stepfather is deceased. But one of the things that my stepfather did, my family's from Mississippi. One of the things my stepfather did, and this is, again, very common in royal families, is when my stepfather decided he wanted to date my mother, my stepfather went to my grandmother and stated his intentions and asked for her permission. This is something that we don't do anymore. We don't do this anymore. Oba doesn't like this either. She does not like this. We don't do this anymore. And one of the things that's so powerful about that is not only does it show respect to the woman's family, it don't have to be her mama or her daddy, whoever raised her. It could be her auntie, whatever. It's not only is it a form of respect, but it makes him be held accountable. Because your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, whoever he went and spoke to is going to be asking you about him. They might, okay, well, give me your phone number. Okay, so I'm going to check in with you. Make sure you ain't doing nothing wrong to my grandbaby. And stuff like that, or my daughter or whatever. It holds a standard to him. Because if 2-3 years pass and, she ain't left his ass. Yeah, go ahead and post your question. Grandmama, whoever, that elder is going to be trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So a lot of these men are getting away with a lot of shit because your elders don't have any type of, they don't have a hand in it. They don't have a hand in what is going on in y'all's relationship. Because you're just dating somebody. Yeah, and it can be any respected elder. It could be your godparent. It could be your auntie. Yeah, it don't have to be your mama because, some of our parents are a little crazy. But whoever you respect and who you go to for advice, that person should be involved. Again, and that's part of courtship, is another person having their hand in it and also being involved. We don't do that anymore. Oba does not like that. She's like, this is how y'all be getting played by these men. Because there's no family involvement. Some of these women be like, oh, I know one of the things that I saw on Real Housewives with Kenya Moore, who's unfortunately divorcing right now. She was saying like his mom, she wasn't allowed to speak to his family. That's not marriage. Y'all family should both be involved in the marriage, in the courtship process, in the dating process. So, well, let me stop saying dating, because like I said, dating is some Americanized modern bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, it's bullshit. If you guys are not formally courting, There is no proposed date for an actual marriage. Even if you have a ring on your finger, it does not mean anything. It does not mean anything. Yeah, and that will also keep a lot of fuck shit out of your life too. If you have an elder or a father or a mother who has that standard for you as well. There is a reason why in wedding ceremonies, there are some traditions that are kind of fucked up, but there's a reason why your mother or your father or somebody walks you down the aisle and allegedly gives you away because you're supposed to be under their care. You see what I'm saying? So again, y'all gonna have to start telling these men straight up, like, I'm not trying to be nobody's girlfriend. I'm not a teenager. I'm not a teenager. I'm not dating. I'm not 16. I'm looking to get married and build a family and build a legacy with somebody. And if that runs him away, fine. But if that's what you want, he needs to run away because you need to get with somebody. You need to get with somebody who is on the same level as you. Yes, men do treat you different when the fathers are not around. And some women have been even told in certain dating circles to just lie about their involvement with their dad so that the man just can have an idea of, oh, I can't fuck her over. If you gotta lie, lie. If it gotta be your uncle, if it gotta be your grandpa, if it gotta be an elder man that you respect and that has your best interest at heart, that can work too. But we're not teenagers anymore. So as long as you allow yourself to be in a dating relationship, that's what you're going to get. I'm telling y'all, I've literally had this happen. And so what happened is I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about what I decided to do. And maybe it was Oba trying to like push me along. Because I have some stuff about to hit my seventh house. And maybe, I'm being charged with that. Was I just stopped telling, I just pretty much told men that this is what I want. This is my standard. This is what I'm accepting. I literally had a gentleman. He had to stand outside. To talk to me. You don't come in my house. Old school. We're gonna keep it old school because we're not. Don't come up in here and be sitting all on my damn furniture. We're not engaged. You know what I mean? Curfews, all of that. Was that so basically I stopped telling people that I was dating or that I was interested in dating. I've actually told people I'm not interested in dating. I'm interested in a formal courtship because I'm looking to be married, soon. Like, I don't want to be anybody's girlfriend. That's not, I want to have children. I want to have children with my husband, and that's just it. It's kind of like when you go get a job. It's like, okay, I need this salary, I need these benefits, and if you don't have it next, you have to have that sense of security within yourself. And so what happened is, like I said, I stopped playing with this teenager dating bullshit. Like, I'm not doing it. And literally in a week's time, I had 3 different men come to me about marriage. The irony about that is one of those men has told me I've known him a long time. He has told me on multiple occasions, ain't no woman gonna ever get me on papers. I ain't never getting married. That's what he told me. Grown man, cool. That's what he wants to do with his life, cool. I had one man, I've known him a long time as well, who would just be like, oh, I need time. And I just would be like, whatever. And I went off and moved to a different state, had kids with somebody else, and just moved on with my life because he wasn't obviously trying to do what I wanted. And we weren't on the same page. Those 2 guys, and then another gentleman, they have all come to me asking me formally about marriage. And I was like, what is going on? But I realized, well, you set a standard. You were like, I'm not gonna date. And if a man really wants you, again, men chase all day. You can look at the animal kingdom. They do all kinds of things to appease the female, which is really what they're supposed to be doing as well as far as humans, but they don't do that no more because we be jumping up and down to get them. But that's another conversation for another day. But I realized that I had shifted. I shifted from being like, oh, I'm okay with dating somebody for a few years, and then we lived together for a while. I shifted out of that. So the men were responding to me differently. And even the dude who told me he would never get married was just like, you know what? I think you're a great person. Listen to this clearly and carefully. What is going on with this hair back here? He was just like, I think you're a great person, and I think you're a great woman, and I've never seen anybody who is as nurturing as you around your children. I've never seen anybody as intelligent as you. You know so many different things about so many different subjects. You're really intelligent. I feel like you would add a lot to my life, because all I really know is about is my personal discipline, the job that he does, that he is really good at. He was like, and I feel like I would never meet anybody like you. So, I mean, I don't really feel like I would ever get married, but if I got married, I would marry you. What do you think about that? I was like, is this man on drugs? Because he's always said that he would never, and even has women saying they want to marry him because he has money, So he has women that are like, I want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. And I was surprised by that, but it was because I told him, like, I'm done dating. I don't have time for this. Like, I don't even have to have sex. I'm looking for a partner that wants to build a legacy with me. And again, like, I feel like his energy, even though I'm not interested in marrying him, I feel like his energy is different with me because I'm just not willing to budge on that. It's a standard. It's a boundary even. And I'm just not willing to do that. It's just something I'm not going to do. I've learned. I feel like I've had about 11 years, 12 years worth of dating experience, and I'm just like, this doesn't really make me feel good. And for some women, it may. For me, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it. I feel taken advantage of. I feel like I waste energy. I waste time. Maybe because I like the idea of being a wife. I like the idea of having babies with my husband. So it doesn't make me feel good when I've been out of those realms. And so then the other dude, honestly, it's kind of like a case of too little too late. Like, dude, you had ample time. Now you done got older. You don't look as good as you look no more. And I'm just really not interested. So he's basically missed his opportunity. And then the third gentleman, who I've actually known the least amount of time, I'm actually more intrigued by him and would move forward with him because he was more assertive about what he wanted. He was literally used the term, I'm marriage minded. I don't want to play. I don't feel like your children should be around me for long periods of time, and I haven't adopted them and made you my wife. That's unacceptable to me. And I was like, oh, well, hot damn. So he actually appeals to me more because it seems like we're more on the same page. So, like I said, but I noticed that shift when I decided I'm not going to date anymore. There's just no energy for me to be somebody's girlfriend. It's a joke. I am not 15 years old. I don't have time for that. And then another thing, one of the dudes who waited too long, in my personal opinion, to try to say he wants to be married and wants a wife and stuff like that, I feel like it's more of like his biological clock is ticking. And even a man will tell you when somebody comes to you trying to get married because they need kids right now and they want to settle down right now, it just breeds like this thirsty energy, and it's very unattractive. So I just it's repulsive for me. I don't really like it. But one of the things with this man is he isn't, as much as he's saying he wants a wife right now, he's not in a good place to have a wife. And when I say he's not in a good place, he doesn't have stability in his life. He shares a home with somebody. I'm like, well, what would happen if we got married? Well, I'm still working on that. Da, 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 da. Sir, you're not ready to get married. You can keep dating, or you can get, do the casual thing that most people are doing these days. And, this is Atlanta. You can have 2 or 3 girls that you deal with or whatever. But you're not in a place to be dating because, again, Oba is the Orisha of the home. No man should be coming to you saying that he loves you, he want to be with you, and he doesn't have a home for you to live in. This one lady that I respect a lot, I cannot think of her name, but I know that she's been married several times, right? And she said her dad told her that apartments are not for children. Children should not be in apartments. If a man comes to you and says he wants to marry you, wants to have kids with you, whatever like that, or get you pregnant, the first thing he needs to be trying to do, if y'all ain't already married, is marry you. But he also needs to be, somehow in that time period, he needs to be buying y'all a house. A house. A place for you to make beautiful. Oba is known to make her home beautiful, decorate her home and things like that. I'm not finna be decorating no goddamn apartment. And you talking about you want to be my husband. The fuck? No. That's a joke. You need to provide a home. And another thing that I also realized too is, sisters, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I really am not. I'm just giving y'all, what spirit is giving me. Um, we are shortchanging these men by allowing them to date us for long periods of time. We are shortchanging these men by not requiring marital commitment. This is why some of these men get real mad at us. Some of them even become abusive because they know they ain't shit. They know they ain't shit. And you're sitting there rubbing his head, rubbing his back. Baby, it's okay. You'll get a car. You'll get a job. It's going to be all right. And he raggedy as fuck. And even if they have careers, they don't have their shit together. You know what I mean? When you do that, you become his mother. And you become a shitty mother at that because you're allowing him to breed in mediocrity. Even fathers, mothers, when you know that your parent, as a parent, if you know that your child is fucking up and they need to get their stuff together, you can help coach them along. But when you see, okay, you 18 and you're not trying to get no job, get out of my house. You need to go take care of your business. That's tough love. And if you really love a man, that's what you'll do for him. You're not going to let him live in your house. You're not going to let him date you for 5 years. You're not going to let him be up under you and not be taking care of business if you really care about him. And these men know that. That's why they have a lack of respect for you when you let them be up under you, be your boyfriend for umpteen years and whatnot. Because they know that you're not, I don't want to say forcing, but you're letting them sit in mediocrity. So that's where the lack of respect comes from. When you're like, damn, I had 2 kids with this man and this and this and this, and he just won't get it together because you're still there. That's why he won't get it together, because you're still there. When you revoke your energy and you revoke your vagina and you revoke your time, you'd be surprised how some of these men will just boom, get it together. And sometimes they'll boom, get it together with the next chick. You know what I mean? Because she will come immediately and be like, oh, you ain't finna be living up in here. You ain't finna be dating me for 2-3 years. You gonna do this or I'm gonna go date somebody else. Or I am dating other people. And if you can't meet my standard, I'm gonna go be with dude over here that actually owns the home and actually has his career together and is ready to have some kids. We mess that up. One of the things I had to tell a dude one time, I was like, you know what, you seem like you have a lot of shit that you need to get together. A lot of things you need to work on. So I'm gonna leave you alone. And he was like, what? You ain't gonna do me, blah, 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 blah. He came back 2 months later talking about he wanna get married. With a whole bunch of different things that he had fixed and gotten together in a record time, if you ask me. Because he knew what was up. He knew what was up. He knew that he was being shitty. And had I accepted that, he probably would have stayed shitty. Like, we really, and I know I did a video about this a year and a half ago. We set the standard of how men are going to treat us. We really do. And when we see that they aren't rising to the standard they need to be, we need to just leave. But again, we think we can't find better, yes. But one of the reasons we think we can't find better is because a lot of men, they kind of drill that into your head. Well, you're going to be single forever. You don't want to be with me. I've heard that's such a narcissistic thing to say. But I've heard men say stuff like that. Some of them really do need to be alone for a while. Some of them really do need to do what a lot of single women do. We break up. We go to therapy. We start working on ourselves. We be doing self-love work and all kind of stuff like that. Some of them need to go do that because they are just going from woman to woman to woman. That's also something, y'all should look at that. These men who go from woman to woman to woman, they have issues that they need to resolve. That's not healthy at all. I dated somebody like that. And as soon as he was done with me, he was with somebody else. And But that's because he's not doing his work. He's going to probably leave her and be with somebody else. Very codependent. Extremely codependent on women. And so he really wears women down because he puts so much on them. But yeah, that's what Obot is pretty much saying. If you stick at this dating stuff, and hey, well, I'm almost kind of like at 3/4, almost to the end. So rewatch it if you want to get the juice. Oh my God, girl, he was tripping. That's crazy because I've seen men do it, you know, and that's why people were so mad at Sierra. They were like, "How did Russell Wilson get with her? He don't have no kids," because he saw her value. It didn't matter. She's probably an excellent mom, and that made him like her even more. Like again, I've had men tell me, you know, I see how you are with your sons. You're such a good mom. You're so loving, and things like that. And that actually was something that they liked. Because actually, one of the dudes who told me that his mom was very mean to him and very unloving to him, and he liked how loving and nurturing I am with my sons. So them and that kid shit, child bye. That's just something they probably couldn't afford to deal with a woman with kids. But you know, masculine men, it gives them pride to say, I bought my wife a house. You know, my wife doesn't have to work, or she can work if she wants. My children go to private school. I can, you know, that gives them a sense of pride, and that boosts their ego in a positive way when they're able to do that. So, allowing a man to be mediocre in your life, again, you're hindering him too. You're hindering him as well. And he knows that. Sometimes they'll leave you and you be like, I put up with so much of his shit. That's why he left, because you was putting up with so much shit. And he was like, he probably would have appreciated you more if you would have just put his ass out or told him, you know, look, Tyrone, this is your third job this year and you've only been able to work a month at a time. This isn't going to work. Woman, especially if you want children, you are supposed to protect your children, and you're not protecting your children if you're with somebody who doesn't want to or refuses to provide or can't provide. He needs to go be by himself and work on. Look, if somebody is not, anybody really, if they're not living their passion or living their best life or doing something that is fulfilling to them, a relationship is the last thing that they need to be involved with. And I'm telling y'all, that dude I cut off, I had to tell you, don't even know. You say you want to be, you want to have this particular career. You need to be focusing on that. You don't need to be focused on me. You need to be focusing on that because you need to get some money so that you can be with me. I'm not going to carry your ass. You got a mama for that. There's other chicks for that. I'm not going to carry you. And like I said, he came back in a record time. Like, okay, I got this in order. I got this in order. I got this in order. Because he knew what the damn deal was. I'm not gonna do that. So that's what Oba was telling me, y'all. She like, this is why the black community is in disarray. This is why, you know, there's so many women, quote unquote, trying to get married, is because that's not a standard. It's not a standard that marriage or get out my fucking face. No, we're not going to be engaged for 5 years. Marriage or get out my fucking face. If you can't take care of me right now, go be by yourself. Learn how to take care of yourself, and then maybe you can expand to having the luxury. Let me say that again. The luxury of having a wife and children. But if you don't have your shit together, you need to go be by yourself. You are not pussy eligible. You don't need to be worried about pussy right now. You need to be worried about getting yourself to a place where you can take care of yourself. Stop enabling these men. Stop giving them the energy. Because you give them energy when you have sex with them, in case you didn't know. Just like a plug to an outlet. Okay? You're giving them energy. The energy, stop giving them the time, stop going on these fucking cheap ass dates where y'all splitting shit and all this other bullshit, y'all splitting rent. Stop doing all of that stuff. If he cannot take care of you, if he cannot say that he wants you to be his wife and actually follow through with those things, leave him alone. You will sit there and you will be frustrated and you will be angry because time is going to keep passing. I'm telling you, I have been through this. I done cried. I done asked men what the hell is wrong with them. I've been embarrassed. I've gone through it all. I've accepted promise rings. I've done it all, okay? All because I thought, well, he's a good man, so I'm gonna stick right here. Okay. Saw how that worked out for me, and I see how it works out for other people. I refuse to be turned away at a hospital by somebody I have children with, I've spent time with, we got bank accounts together, we got a house together, because I'm not kin. Because we're not legally fucking married. But I'm like, but he my boo, but we got kids together. They don't give a fuck about that. You're not kin. When it comes down to the paperwork and the legal aspect of it, like I said, with all the Libra, all the astrology stuff, all the astrology juice I gave y'all at the beginning, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It just doesn't matter. In a court of law, it doesn't matter. You are just their girlfriend. I think that happened with, it was a dude. It was one of these brothers that got killed by the police some years ago. When they were breaking down all of his financials and stuff like that, all of the money went to his wife. But he had a girlfriend that he had been with. I want to say him and his wife, they hadn't gotten divorced yet. But he had a girlfriend and he had kids with, and had been living with and stuff like that. And the girlfriend didn't get nothing. Because they were like, well, he's legally married to this woman over here, so she's going to get everything. So if she chooses to break some money off to y'all, you know, good for y'all, but this is his legal wife, so she's going to get everything. So y'all can let that piece of paper excuse, y'all can use that all y'all want and let that be it, but Oba said no. If you want that respect, and if you want that you have to make that a standard. You have to make that a standard. Okay, well, as long as we're not married, I'm dating other people, or I'm not going to, even if you're not dating other people, I advise it, but whatever. I'm not going to make this relationship the bane of my existence. Because I'm not your wife, you're not my husband. You know, I have things to do, I have a career to do, I have other things to focus on. And like I said, hey, you might have some other booze to focus on that may want to take that step with you and be ready to build generational wealth with you throughout with a marriage. As I also stated before, in royal families, dating is unheard of. You're not going to just be dating somebody for long periods of time, and y'all are not going to actually solidify it with a plan. One of the ways you can really thwart a lot of this stuff is to ask a man what his 5-year plan is, or to ask him about his family. A lot of men who are not family oriented, child, they will say all kind of crazy. Oh, I want to get a Porsche, and I want to blah, blah, blah. They won't mention a thing about family. They won't mention a thing about finances, and that's your red flag right there. If you want to be married, to just be out. I feel like every woman, you know, I feel like you should have your pick. I don't feel like you should be sitting up waiting on not one person to pop the question or whatever. You should be able to be like, okay, so there's Tyrone, there's Michael, there's Justin, and there's Mark. Okay, Mark's to live with his mama. Justin has a place, but he don't want kids, and I do. Like you should have your options. Again, in the animal kingdom, that's a norm. The animals perform, and the women choose who's the fittest. It's survival of the fittest in these streets. Who has the strongest DNA that can help me carry forward? Obi energy. If he can't give you a home, not an apartment, that's not masculine energy at all. You're just going to get dragged. And there's very few women, as quiet as it's kept, it's very few women who do the whole ride or die thing and actually end up with the things, you know, if the man does happen to amass some type of assets for himself, they don't usually end up with that. It's just, you literally are the ride. You are the ride. He's riding on your back. And then when he gets what he wants to get, then he runs off with somebody else. So if that's what you want, if that's what your standard is, like I said, Oba is old fashioned, baby. She's old fashioned. You know, she's old fashioned. She's about tradition. She's about family. She's about the home, and she's about marriage. And she's like, if that's what you want, if that's what your standard is, then make that a requirement. Don't let this society tell you that you have to date somebody for 3 years first, and you have to go through all these issues with them first. No. If you believe that, you're going to dry yourself, you're going to have wrinkles, you're going to be tired. And you don't have to do that. I mean, we see women every day who get with men and it's like, boom. It just happens so fast. because he was ready and he was in place and that's what he wanted. And even if he didn't really want that, he wanted her bad enough, and her standard was, well, we have to get married before we buy a house together. Oh, this is really nice that you had. And again, that really fucks some men up, especially if they have money. That really fucks them up when you're like, oh, okay, you can buy a house. Well, I'm not going to move in with you until we're married. They'd be like, oh, shit. Because it's a standard for you, and you don't look like a quote-unquote gold digger. Because you're like, no, you're going to secure your future with me and put my name on this goddamn deed. I'm not going to be, child, I heard about this girl. It was a few years ago. I had a friend. We had a friend who was just so like, oh, my boyfriend, not fiance even. My boyfriend bought us a house and this and that and was showing off our house and all kind of stuff like that. Girl, how about 6 months into them shacking up, as they call it in the South, he put her out and she couldn't do shit about it. And that's another example of what I mean by this girlfriend shit. It doesn't mean anything. It don't mean, this shit is, I don't know how old everybody is on this video or whatever, but child, look, I'm 31. Don't nobody got time for that. Don't nobody got time for that. That shit is a joke. That shit is for teenagers. That shit is for high school. Maybe college. But that shit is a joke. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And again, I ain't here for that. You're either going to build a foundation, a home, which is what a home is. You're going to build a foundation, a family, all of that stuff. Or I'm going to date other people, or I'm just going to be enjoying my life. They still delivering dildos on Amazon last time I checked, okay? You can still buy you one. Men talk a lot. I heard men talk mad shit about dildos. Oh, you ain't going to be able to get the real thing, dude, please. Dildos don't ask for rent. It costs more to get one of those, what do you call them? Those little vaginas that men be trying to use. It costs more to buy one of those than it does to buy a dildo. And there's a reason why dildos are still being sold, even during the coronavirus. Okay, because hell, some of these men don't even know how to give a woman an orgasm. Okay, so that was her message. Either you're going to make marriage the standard, or you're going to do the dating thing and just kind of go around in circles. Every time he tries to push you into that wife category, let's live together, let's have a baby, let's open this bank account together, be like, oh, nope, not doing that until I'm married. You ain't even got to say married to you, until I'm married, and just leave it alone. You do not have to sit up and ride it out with somebody. That's the real tea. You do not have to do that. Because men who are really ready, cause I've actually met men who were happy to hear that. When I was just like, yeah, I'm not really interested in casually dating anybody. I'm looking to, we can be friends, but I'm looking for a formal courtship in which our families meet, etc., etc. There's a plan. We sit down during the courtship process and we create a plan for our family before we actually get married and stuff like that. And they were like, oh wow, like that's actually, I kind of like that. I want that level of structure. They didn't say those particular words, but they were impressed by that because that's what they were looking for. They actually were kind of turned off because maybe these men came from like more traditional families. They were actually turned off by the casual dating thing, and they were kind of apprehensive to mention like, I kind of want to get married in a year and a half. So I'm, trying to see what you own. You'd be surprised, especially if law of attraction. If that's something that you want, you will attract that to yourself. If you keep saying, I only want to be a wife, I only want to be a wife, I only want to be a wife, you will start attracting men who only want to be a husband, who only want a wife. I'm telling y'all, I done lived it. I'm literally sitting here looking at it right now, ignoring phone calls and everything. So that's what Oba wanted to say. That's what she wanted to say. If that is your standard, make that a requirement. When you go look for a car, when you go look for a house, when you go look for a job, You have certain things that you're required to have, and it's the same thing with relationships. Even if you have a homegirl that you're with, like, if you like, I don't like smokers, and your friend smokes, you might be like, I don't want to be friends with her. It's the same thing with these relationships. It's the same thing. You just have to love yourself enough to not be like, well, damn, he real fine. He real fine, but does he want what you want? If he don't, move on. I promise you, there's billions of people on this planet. We got internet dating. Okay, I know people who have met their spouse through internet dating. Please don't think that it's impossible. Hell, somebody on it's cutting out. I guess that's my time. So yes, like I said, don't limit yourself. What you want is looking for you. So just make that standard. People always talk about, like, with the law of attraction, how they say they want a house that looks like this, and they'll be like, well, the first house kind of had some of it, but it didn't have everything, and they held out. And the next house, it had more, but it didn't have everything. But then that third house, or that fourth house, or that even that fifth house, it had exactly what they wanted. And it's just like that with dating. And law of attraction, you can set a timeline for yourself if you want. Like, oh, I'm gonna meet my marital partner within a year, and we're gonna be married within. You can do that. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in your desires and what you want. I've had to do this with jobs before. I had to do this with friendships. I actually did some work around connecting with women that I felt were on my vibe, and I did. I actually didn't have to go through several people, but I met women like almost instantly in my case. Maybe because I didn't have a lot of resistance built up toward it. But you can have what it is that you want. Don't let anybody in modern society tell you that you can't have what you want. Oba says that you can have what you want. And you can have, a marital partner if that is what you want. But that has to be your standard. Don't get caught up in dating. Don't get caught up being somebody's girlfriend. Don't get caught up in being somebody's forever fiance. Don't get caught up giving a man a legacy through children or through you signing loans for his ass or a different shit like that. If that's not what you want, don't do it. I've done that before. I've literally sat up, like I told y'all, I done lived this shit. I done sat up and been like, well, let me just try to help him out. Well, let me just try to, like, push him along. Y'all, I have literally gotten on the internet and looked up degree programs for men before. Never a fucking again. I was in my 20s, okay? Just to give myself a little slack. But never again will I do that. They should come to you with their shit together. Women usually have our shit together. We usually do. We usually have already done our education and, have our own places and stuff like that. Make that a standard for what you want. And if it's you want to be married, don't minimize to, well, I guess I'll be the third wife. No, you ain't gotta do that shit if you don't want to. If you want to, by all means. If you don't want to get married, by all means. This doesn't even apply to you. Like I said, Oba is the Orisha of marriage. Okay, so this is strictly what this is about. Full moon Libra energy. But if that's what you want, you state that and you be clear about that. And I guarantee you, there will be a man. If you like women, there will be a woman who will be like, you know what? This is what I've wanted. I've actually wanted somebody to come to me saying, I want marriage. Again, especially in this society where people be trying to run from it, shit, they might be like, wow, somebody that actually wants to get married in 2020. You know what I mean? And that could be your connection. You know what I mean? That will be what it is, what you want. So that's possible. Like I said, I done had 3 different brothers hit me up in a whole week that are like, I'm ready to do this. And I'm like, oh, where the hell were you 2 weeks ago? It doesn't even fucking matter. Maybe this is just when, the universe wanted to bring it around to me, when I aligned with what I wanted. But at the end of the day, make that a requirement. If that's what you want, make it a requirement. Don't be afraid to make that a requirement. Don't be afraid to to state that it is what you want. And like I said, Oba, again, she's associated with ears. So listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. If somebody says that they want to get married to you and they aren't doing things that a spouse that you would want, or a spouse period would be doing, then that is your opportunity to leave. That is your opportunity to be like, maybe I need to go look elsewhere for that. because this person doesn't seem to be aligning with that. Like I said, the brother who hit me up and he don't even have a pot to piss in, I was like, brother, you don't want a wife. You might want some sex. You might want some female nurturing. You might want somewhere to stay. That ain't with the other person you living with right now. But you don't want a wife because you aren't in a husband. You're not able to provide a home. Because again, Obal requires that. You aren't able to provide a home for me. You see what I'm saying? So I had to release him into the ethers because and brother is a lot older than me, in my personal opinion, over a decade older than me. I'll say that without giving out all his business. And I just was like, at your age, I feel like you should be a little bit more stable, especially if you're talking about getting married. Because I'm just trying to figure out how to fuck. Look, y'all gotta look at this shit. You gotta be a little bit critical in your thinking. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck you gonna afford an engagement ring that's suitable for me and my standard with my Venus and Libra ass, and you can't even provide yourself a mortgage. How we do that? Houseway. So that's why I just released him on by his business because I'm like, you're not wife ready because your career is a little shaky and you don't have a home. And again, Oba energy, this Arisha, she requires a home. She's actually, from what I understand, she's a good Arisha to connect with if you want to buy a home, if you want a home of your own, if you need help decorating your home, if you need help with your family, things like that. That's what she's here for. That's what Oba is here for. And like I said, her colors are pink and blue. And she was a wife of Shango. And different stories tell. Sometimes they said that she was fighting with Oshun or vying for Shango's attention over Oshun. And some people say she was vying for Shango's attention over Oya, depending on which wife it was. But regardless, she wanted his attention, and she cut off her ear in order to get his attention, and it made Shango actually angry. But again, it's a story, and it's deeper to the story, part of the story. If you want to get deeper into learning about Orisha worship, I am not yet a priestess, but you can connect with my spiritual mother, Iolosha Osanyemi Akalatunde. Her YouTube channels are Got to Be Oshun on YouTube, and her other channel is the Sweetwater Collective, where she actually teaches about the Orisha if you're interested in learning. The class where she taught about Oba is a private class, but if you go to her website, you can sign up for that class and you can learn about her there. And that's where I learned about Oba. But I had already heard about Oba, and I was already kind of intrigued with learning about her energy. Yeah, she is such a beautiful storyteller. Like, I'm sorry, y'all burped. I'm eating good today. She has a beautiful sing-song voice, and she's a beautiful storyteller, and she's very, very well educated. And so the way she tells stories, the way she weaves stories is very beautiful. But yes, if you want to learn more about Oba, sometimes her name is spelled with one B, sometimes it's spelled with two B's. But Oba is also a warrior. She carries a sword, so she's not somebody to be fucked with. Okay, she don't play games. But again, if you need help with family or your actual marriage or drawing in a marital partner, she is good for that. And if you look up pictures of her, you usually find her dressed in pink and wearing a pink dress and things like that. So you can like Google and learn different things about Oba. But I love the tradition. I love African spiritual traditions. I study them, and I was fortunate enough to take that class with Iolosha Osanyemi, and it was very, very dope. Very, very dope class. Because she talked about three different water deities. This is Water Orisha, and she's a priestess of Oshun herself, so she's very well acquainted with water and beauty and all that good stuff. She's a very beautiful woman as well, of course, because she's an Orisha of Oshun. I mean, she's a priestess of Oshun. But I appreciate her, and I appreciate her teaching me about Oba. That I just kind of kept seeing pink and kind of just kept getting the message to work with her. But like I said, she was very clear on this Libra marriage full moon that is why the black community is in such disarray, and there's so many sisters that is like, I want to get married, blah, 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 blah. You can do all the wife school you want, you can do all the relationship coaches you want, but at the end of the day, I feel like the easiest shortcut to that shit is make it a mandate. Make it a standard. We're not doing shit unless we married. We can go to the park. We can be friends. We're not doing anything permanent unless we're married. If that's something that you want, like I said, if that's what you want. Another resource that I can give you all that's good is G.L. Lambert. This is a black man who writes books about relationships. He married himself. He has books on all kind of stuff, how to finesse men and different stuff like that. But he does have a book specifically about getting married, and I had to read it a few times for it to really click. But I mean, if you read the book, he tells it to you straight. Like, once he started talking about you need to wash my clothes, we need to live together. No, I'm not gonna. Unfortunately, I don't feel comfortable unless we're married. He has other verbiage, on how to speak to men, because again, he's a man and he has that male perspective. But that's pretty much how you gotta do it, And like I said, in my personal experience, the men who are marriage minded and who want wives, and even the ones that don't, um, if they really want to be with you, and if they're really serious about forging a future with you, whatever standards you set, they will usually go along with it because they want you. So if your standard is marriage, they will do that. Like I said, I had a total playboy be like, well, I'll do it because, what I'm saying, I just never met anybody as smart as you, and I feel like you could really just help me, and we could do this and we could do that. And I honestly was shocked when he said it. But that's my Libra full moon message that I have for y'all, and I'm gonna upload this on YouTube tonight so people can soak up this Libra full moon energy. But yeah, that has to be it. That just has to be it. You can't budge on your standard, because once you do, then you end up as the eternal girlfriend, I say, and nothing ever really changes. And then you salty. Anyway, I don't want y'all to be saltiana. Okay, we have enough saltiana energy. Okay, in this world, but that is that. And so thank you guys for hanging out with me and listening to my message that I have and learning about Oba and her pantheon. And again, if y'all study, a lot of people be trying to African this, African that, African this, African. If y'all go to Africa, I've never been, but I know African people, and I know people who have been to Africa. As I was gonna say, sorry, I was cutting out. Um, Engagement parties, dowries, family involvement in the courtship process and marriage is huge. And marriage is huge. That is like a standard. So if y'all want to talk about black folks and our connection to Africa, marriage is very much an African concept. It is very much a thing. It is very important to African culture. From what I've learned about West, East, and Central African culture from my studies and the people that I know and the people that I know that practice those traditions, marriage is very, very important. Dating is a motherfucking joke. You have to go to the father. You have to ask for permission. Then you have to pay a dowry. Like, it is not a game. So if y'all want to talk about the ancestors and culture and tradition, marriage is a part of that. Marriage is a very African thing to do. So just wanted to make that very clear. Okay, so y'all have a good night, and I'm going to upload this on my YouTube channel, and yeah, I'll post it on my Facebook once I'm done. Thank y'all. Bye.